wanted to make a point regarding why I started to make these broadcasts, and well, the reason why I started playing these video games obviously because I like them. That was a long time ago when I was a kid. Well, actually, I think it was 7th grade when I played Resident Evil 2 for the first time, 1997 or something like that. Like, it was quite a shocking game for me because, you know, the visuals back in the days were extremely difficult to witness, and yeah, you know, seeing that corpse rotten, that rotten corpse being eaten alive by bacteria, or what was the coronavirus during that age, right? The T virus or the G virus from the video games, but it's also the same narrative that we have today in our society. Okay, so we had this thing there, and I remember how shocked I was playing that video game and how much I feared playing it, but I still went there, like doing that thing, like going against the fear. So perhaps it's something that certain types of humans do, like go in there, and even if you fear a place or do some, you know, like you encounter something that makes you feel fear, just go through it and overcome it. At some point you'll successfully make it. So I think actually there is a catharsis, or like a curing effect, by just going through the thing that you fear and overcoming it. Of course, you shouldn't blindly go in if you fear the heights, just go and jump off a mountain or something like that, right? So it's something that we should always do with caution. And this dynamics that I encountered when I was a kid, I just remember I was playing this video game Resident Evil 2 with which is the same game that we're playing now. I mean, the same scenario is just the old game from 1997 that doesn't have such good graphics like as the one from 2019 has, and I won't go talking about that. So I will talk, however, about the narratives, because this is what actually is important to my research. So basically, back then I remember my friend and I playing video games, and we were playing, of course, Resident Evil 2, and he wasn't quite aware about the narrative and so forth, and I said, like, okay, just try playing it. And he went there, he played it for a couple of minutes, and nothing happened. It was I will continue the story, right, with Claire. It was with Claire back in the 1997 game, and what happened is at some point Claire moving around okay, let's cure Claire for all. Okay. At some point, Claire was walking, just like in our game here, right? And nothing happened, because this is a survival horror video, right? Nothing happens for a while, and then something happened, like that. It's not that shocking in the in 2019 game, but in the game in 1997, when the girl, when Claire from the 1997 game was caught by those hands from the wall, and the player lost control of the character, you know, it's like it provoked this reaction in my friend, which is the fact that he jumped from the chair. Thank goodness he was playing the computer video game using the keyboard, and there was another table with juices and cookies and everything that we had there to enjoy the experience, right? And he jumped from the chair, and totally demolish everything around him, but somehow the computer escaped. And he said, like, he swear he will never ever ever play video games, horror video games again. He will never play that video game again because it gave him that thrill, that shock. So it made me wonder, why do I play these video games? Why do I need to go there? And because I feel fear as well. I don't like this feeling. I go there, like, there is tension, there is suspense, there is terror. So however, I go there and play it. And well, it must be my personality. I'm not the only one, that's for sure. But I am not I'm not a character, or I'm not that type of personality that is insensitive. Like, I do feel I consider myself very sensitive, and I will talk about this because I have another project that I will do. I'm gonna talk about this, so I will not forget about it. Maybe I'll forget and I'll never do it. Who knows? Alright. So what I'm gonna talk about is my passion for martial arts that I had it since I was a kid. I was 2 years old when I've seen a kung fu movie, and I've seen those guys jumping from one house to another and so forth, and I was like, man, I want to be like that. It wasn't clear for me at that age, when I was 2 years old, that basically those are impossible tasks. And you know, slowly when you grow up and you age, and well, you grow older, first of all, you start to understand better the type of universe you're in, which is the the 3D universe with the time and space and the limits that you have, that provide you also you know, like, impossible to fulfill desires, right? And this causes suffering at its peak, because you want to jump, you want to fly from the ground, you want to go, but you're not a bird, you don't have wings, you can't fly. You still have that desire to go there and reach that pitch from the tree, right? Is the perfect pitch. You can't have it, so you want to reach it. So yeah, this is something that I could also see in these video games. For example, I'm trying to get that pack because I want to upgrade whatever, you know. It's like, I know this will help me, but I can't reach it. Okay, so this is quite universal thing regarding human beings, or maybe living beings in general, because we have needs, we have desires, but we lack the knowledge or the means. Many times we lack the knowledge or the means to get them. So how do we get what we need? How do we get what we want? From this point of view, reality seems to be just like a video game. I'm trying to get that film. I want to get that film, but I can't. It's frustrating. So what happens here in this game, because I'm playing the game by the rules, you cannot change the rules of the game unless you have a cheat code or something. Alright, so but playing with cheat codes is not the same as, you know, finding the solution with using your own brain. And somehow we have these desires towards the universe that is outside us. We want to interact with it and change it, okay? But there are the physical laws, and then there are the other people or animals or whatever, you know, like, and they prevent you from getting what you want. So question is, of course, what do we want? Well, definitely there are a few things that everybody wants, generally speaking, like, you can coin them. The Buddhist perspective tells you that, okay, everybody wants happiness. Nobody wants to suffer. Everybody wants to not suffer. Everybody wants happiness, right? And there is also the religion that tells you something similar. Although Christianity talks about God. So basically, they promise eternal happiness if you obey the rules of the game, the divine rules of the game. And okay, if you're searching for happiness like Buddha did when he was Buddha had everything that he wanted, right? He was a prince. He had comfort. He had everything that his body needed, including a beautiful wife when he grew up. And his father made sure that he's actually satisfied. However, that satisfaction didn't give him happiness, or there were some things that his father couldn't provide, because he exited his palace. He exited his palace outside, and he's seen people in pain, with physical pain because of diseases, and well, he wasn't aware about that. What's going on? Well, you're having a disease, you're suffering, you feel pain, and that was a trouble. He didn't experience pain before, right? So he's seen that, and he was troubled because that will happen to him at some point. Somebody told him, and after that, he's seen something else, right? He went there outside, and he's seen an old person. An old person? What? Well, you're gonna age too, Siddhartha, right? You're gonna age. Your body won't be that supple anymore. You won't jump. You won't be able to jump around, do things. Or, you know, it's like you will feel the burden of your physical body. And then again, there was another thing, and that was death. He's seen somebody dying there in the streets, and it's like, oh, what happened to that person? Really, like, they died. What do you mean they died? They're not there anymore. The person is gone. The physical body is gone. Okay, so that also troubled Siddhartha, right? The future Buddha. He was a prince, and he could see actually what his father couldn't provide. So all this comfort, all this, everything that the society can provide you as satisfactory, basically, well, they can't stop death, they can't stop suffering, which is physical pain and, you know, illnesses and so forth. And this is just the one of the types of the suffering that the Buddhists talk about. But however, we have disease, we have death, and we have old age, or disease, old age, and death, if you want to put it in a crescendo order. So what's going on here? We are unable, with what we have, to beat these rules. Like, we can stop physical pain for a certain period of time if we take the right medicine. We can do what? We can try to slow down old age, so we can get older slower than what we would if we wouldn't do certain things. Okay, so however, we cannot prevent death. That is quite certain. At some point in life, that will come for everybody. And yeah, this is unsettling. And somehow these video games, the survival horror video games, they deal with the same kind of stuff. The same kind of stuff. I mean, like, here in these video games, I'm not saying that other video games they don't deal with this problems. I mean, in all video games, you have to stay alive. You have to save the game. You have to protect the integrity, the so-called virtual integrity of the physical virtual bodies. They're virtual bodies, or they're the avatars, right? In my case here is Claire. Okay, so you have to protect Claire in this environment from getting harmed by other creatures, which are the zombies. So it's quite easy in the game to see that, from Super Mario to Sonic to any type of game. I mean, you can play strategy games like chess or Warcraft or Starcraft or other things, other games like that, and basically the same idea is to protect the entity that represents you there, which is the avatar. Being the avatar is either an individual, like everything is focused on this individual. You have a certain type of rules that you can protect this individuals, or you can have a group of individual, which is a strategy game. So that's another thing. But of course, you can extrapolate this idea to the real life. You can imagine actually that, well, if I had control over 3 players here, I had to protect the 3 of them, right? So it will be more difficult. But then again, maybe you have a team. Maybe you're working as a lawyer, or maybe you're, I don't know, like I was, for example, I was a coach for a couple of times, and I had to protect the group I invested in, and those were my students, right? So I have to make sure that they are happy, that they are learning what they want, and so forth. So that was my concern at that point. Then again, I was a teacher, so I had to teach in a class, and I had to take care of, you know, the fact that the students should learn the lesson, they should understand, and so forth. So I had to manage a group of individuals in a different way, it's true, but I still have to manage something. Okay, so this comes up with a comparison that makes us realize actually reality in a way acts just as a game acts. Now, where does this lead us? Here. We have to protect ourselves, and there are rules in the game, because that's what I was trying to point at. There are rules, and you cannot, unless you cheat, you cannot avoid the rules. Now you can learn some rules, you can master the rules. That's the best idea. I mean, if you are good at a game, if you master the rules, and that means you know how to use the tools. I shouldn't have done that. That's actually poor playing, right? Shooting bullets at nothing. So you can master the rules. Oh, did I actually do that here? Let me see. Oh, I didn't. Okay, so let's put this one where? I'm gonna choose the 3rd one. Yeah, I'm gonna choose it here. I'm gonna just put it here. So you can master the rules. Mastering the rules provides you the ability to navigate through the game easily. So I think we can take the video games as a metaphor for and as a safe ground for actually exercising this ability. Let's open, what was that, 105? No, 106. I think this is it. Oh yeah. So we open up. Now you can see that actually opening up, nothing there. Oh, 101, 109, 103, 109. By understanding the rules and by providing what is needed for something, this allows you to unlock certain types of things in the game. And unlocking this will make your life in the game easier. Now you can imagine that actually this is real life, and what you can do is unlocking some types of understanding of the reality, which is the social network that we are living in, the natural life that we live in, the physical laws that we have to obey, and our statuses as mortal beings that have needs, and they have to interact with each other to provide whatever they want. Okay, they have needs, they have desires, while they are threatened by various diseases, crazy people, or like just chaos around you. Okay, so it's always this idea that humanity was just like a citadel surrounded by dangers, and humanity needed to exit its citadel to get what it needed, because the danger was within in the same time. So you're not like in a bubble that is protected. You're not there like having everything you need in the bubble. You need to go outside in the jungle and get the lion, or get the antelope and run away from the lion. So it's this thing that you have to do to other beings what you're afraid that others will do to you in order to survive as a species, or in that case if you're a hunter. So it's a very old thing that happens in reality. So in any game brings this forth, this primal aspect of reality, which after all so does the capitalism, right? Like capitalism, it works as a free market. Everybody can do whatever they want, and there are bigger companies that eat smaller companies. So there's the law of the jungle. Everybody's free to do whatever they want, but of course they can't do more than they can. And a smaller player can't beat a bigger player. They may try, like not always. If they know the rules, they may actually succeed, but it's not so easy to actually get there. And I talked about martial arts, and this is actually not by chance, because I tried to understand martial arts. The reason why I started martial arts actually from the very beginning was because I was attracted by this. I think it was the power that they will provide you. Somehow the power that will make you beat the game. Okay, they will just give you extra bonuses. Like I have these 2 knives now. Maybe without martial arts I would just have 1 or half a knife. Like you have less things that you can use if you don't know things. So knowledge in that sense is power. So perhaps what I always wanted was power. Now what I didn't understand when I wanted to actually jump like that from one roof to another, from a tree to a roof and so forth, like I've seen in the Chinese movies, which was an immense, incredible result. So like, okay, they present these people, of course, who are Chinese, and they have these extraordinary abilities. And what happens, like, you want to be just like that. Okay, so you see these people that have these extraordinary tools, and they seem to just master the game. They just play there and enjoy, and wow, you just want to be like them. Like they are the heroes. What's a hero? A hero is the one who wins the game, is the winner. Everybody likes to be a winner. So naturally when you're a kid and you see something like that, I'm not saying everybody is the same, but look, I believe that we all find our own heroes in a way or another. Okay, so is this hero that you want to become, or you want to have what he has? How do you get these things? Well, in Resident Evil, if you go here, like, you have the hero. Winning here means beating the game, unfolding the narrative, and the hero has certain qualities, right? You are told that there's, okay, like this hero has a gun. Well, she also has a feather necklace that symbolizes her purity, which is actually, according to the narrative, being pure in a dirty world is actually one of the mandatory faculties that actually allows you to win the game. Yeah, why? Because this is more metaphysical. Bottom line, survival horror video games that delve into mythology and spirituality, they are metaphysical. So when you see a girl here fighting zombies, you can also add up that this is actually purity fighting dirt, or all kinds of dirt. Because okay, she's young, she's fighting, she's young, healthy, sexy female who is fighting uh, corrupted corpses, old, degenerated, rotted. She's fighting death, basically, and that's not sexy at all, right? So it's like, is this power of life, or what Freud would call uh, it's the libido, right? Is the power of the libido is the thirst of life, the power of life, sexuality, life, aliveness, all the good feelings and the juice that comes out of it, and the threat of death. So you have death there, and death comes out with grim. Grim, poor environment. Okay, you can see death actually in the environment that surrounds. Look, it's actually, death doesn't lack architecture, doesn't lack structure in certain aspects, but it's a combination between structure and infrastructure. So it's more like unveiling these parts that actually shouldn't be seen, and I think that's the problem with and I'm talking about Revelation, I'm talking about Apocalypse here, and the metaphor of a zombie. Let's have a look at one of these. Da-da-da-dum, tum-tum. Here we are. Okay, this one is properly dressed, but we see blood there. Now we know that Claire and any other human being who's not hurt has blood in their body. The problem with the zombie here that actually worries us when we see this blood, which is a fluid in the body that is outside. Okay, so the fluid from the body should stay in the body, shouldn't be seen, but now we see it. We know it's something that is not normal. Okay, this doesn't function properly because we see it out. Why is it out? It shouldn't be there. So this is a transgression of what makes us feel safe, which is the rule of normality. Not to mention the weird aspect of his legs, but I think that's because I moved it there. So he's not trying to make the split. He's too fat for that. He's just dead. Now we see blood on the walls in the same way. The blood shouldn't be there. It shows us that there is danger. What's going on here? Okay, now we can see the zombie. I think I will go somewhere where I can actually present a corpse in a better view. You can actually be horrified and disgusted. Okay, so we have this aspect of what's inside the flesh. Okay, so we have an anatomy lesson in a way. So what's wrong with the anatomy lesson? Oh, well, it is something disturbing about finding the truth. The thing about apocalypse means revelation. Apocalypse means, even in the Bible, the end of the world is actually the time of God. Okay, so it's like the time of God when the Kairos and the Empire of God comes, the kingdom of God comes and it superimposes, revealing everything. And that's the apocalypse. Now, what we see here is details about the human body that we normally don't see. So it's part of the truth. And death, the rotting of the body, is part of the truth. So we shouldn't fantasize about apocalypse, that this will bring us, like, will actually give you a cheat code that will actually make you be alive forever, because actually it might just give you the glimpse of the reality, which is unsettling. It is by recognizing the mortality of the human being. In this way, I think that survival horror video games are quite an apocalyptic narrative, okay, at their core. They reveal the truth about reality, okay? Just like Buddha went outside in the streets and Buddha saw death, suffering, and disease. This is what survival horror video games present you with in details, okay? So their core is to reveal the disgusting part of reality, something that we don't like to see, we like to corner, we like to lie about, and it's something that has to do a lot with the structure of power. You, well, I just said power with an emphasis. Okay, I don't know the answer for that game, for that riddle there, and I need something to put there. Okay, but why am I making this video? Because I want to talk about certain aspects of reality, and I plan to do something else aside playing video games. Actually, what I want to do is like continue evolving in the martial arts. I'm looking for a real school that teaches internal martial arts, that won't strip me out of money, and with people I can communicate, I can well communicate with, right? And people who want to actually evolve internally, people who want to a fancy looking key, right? Okay, let me just open up the inventory. This is a spade key. As you can see, there is a spade there. Da 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 dam. A blue spade. As we talked earlier in my video, there is a lot of symbolism in this game. You can see the color is blue. There are many references. Blue. Oh, yeah, it changes the color. Yeah, there are many references towards alchemy in survival horror video games, at least in Resident Evil and Silent Hill franchises that I mainly discussed about during my PhD research. Now, ironically, nice statue. Okay, ironically, I didn't discuss about power until I didn't discuss about power in my research. That was back in 2010, 2014. That was during my PhD. I didn't discuss about power, but I had to deal with it after that, or during my PhD research. I also had an exchange, and I went to China because I was invited there. And well, when you think about martial arts, and I'm talking about this because martial arts should provide you some kind of tools, just like video game characters have in their inventory. So you can see this knife. Oh, bloody knife, right? Well, you can use this knife, or you can use this knife, right, to cut out zombies. And if you do that, you don't need to run away from them because they are dead, right? So you don't need to run away from the zombies. They are dead, no problem with that. So you can relax a little bit. So this will make the game easier. If you don't have knives, if you don't have bullets, the only chance to survive is by running. And you're not sure you're gonna make it all the time. Like, so it's more stressing. So in order to prevent this, of course you want to add ammo. I'm not sure if you can beat the game without these tools. You might beat the game, you might be able to do that, but just imagine that for certain types of games, if you can't solve a certain type of puzzle, you can just you can't go forward in the game. So in order to beat the game, you need to add this kind of toys, these gadgets that will make your life easier. But what's more important, because maybe you can just run away through all the universe of the video game until you reach the puzzles. Okay, what really matters is not the toys that you have, it's not the powers that you get, What really matters is the intellect. You know, your ability, your mental and intellectual ability that is actually challenged culturally in these video games in order to solve some riddles. And that is not just in survival horror video game, but you know, I found this quite particularly interesting because you have the abilities and the powers, the physical powers that you can develop, or so you know, the virtual physical powers that you have and the virtual physical tools that you have and you can master to fight the zombies with, and you have the intellectual abilities that you cannot actually get from the video game. So it just transports you back to your real life and makes you direct your attention towards culture, towards reading, towards informing yourself, towards doing something that will provide you some kind of skills that will both get you into the situation where you can actually solve the puzzles in the game, but they will also get you into the situation that you can solve similar types of puzzles in the real life. So let's imagine that you can solve this puzzle with the cipher and so forth, and you are so good at solving these kind of puzzles that somehow when you have some difficulty in your real life, you have the ability of, you know, just connect the things together and find a solution to whatever problem you have. So of course this depends on the situation and so forth, but ideally speaking, if you can juggle with objects and you are good at juggling physically, this can be an analog to your mental capacity to take the situation in your life and juggle with them. Ideally. Of course, you might just get the physical ability to juggle with the objects without transporting this ability into your real life. And the question is, how do you transport what you find in a playing environment? How do you transport this into real life, so make it work out there as well? Because more or less we can see games as mimicking life at certain various degrees. Okay, so what can you get from these games that will help you better in the game of life? So we talked about power, we talked about skills, we talked about different gadgets that you can get and different abilities that will make you get this kind of easiness of swimming throughout life and the game of life. So what we had there was of course uh, the Kung Fu Masters, right? We have the Kung Fu Masters with their super abilities to fly from one tree to another that really impressed me as a kid. And we have these Kung Fu abilities incorporated into the survival video game of Resident Evil. Wait, I need to check my phone so I can see, because a friend is coming here, and I think I'm gonna just pause it for a while. Okay, so uh, we are back here broadcasting live. Yeah, so as I said before, to resume what I just said, we need skills, we need weapons, we need gadgets, we need things to survive in games. Okay, this will make us actually swim through the whole universe that we are living in, the virtual universe, better. Okay, so it's easier to swim with them. Supposedly that you know how to use them, it is way easier uh, to go through the game and unfold the narrative. Now, the video games also point out to the intellectual and cultural capacities that the player should have, and this transports them from the frame of the game out into the reality, because culture is something that we have in our real world. Now you may think of that actually games also are part of the culture and we are not that much outside that actually culture through books, media, paintings, whatever the perception provide us, they are in a way similar with the game, and actually they everything that we are surrounded with, culture included, is actually part of the display of what we experience. All right, so that is also true. I must admit that this log is a bigger bowl where the soup is held. Okay, so games are part of the culture, but well, there are other parts from cultures that will help you solve the problems in the game that the game doesn't give you the key to solve. So basically, the game gives you the key, the game gives you the knife, and gives you the weapons and so forth to kill the zombies. But in order to solve a puzzle like, where was that locker here? So we have this locker, right? So in order to solve this puzzle, well, game doesn't give you the solution. Well, it gives you the ability to actually move these letters here and see if you can uncipher the lock, but it doesn't give you the code, it doesn't give you the key. It gives you some hints though, and what are these hints? Well, portable safety instructions. Okay, so we have here, press a button to light up its corresponding lamp, light them all to open the safe. It gives you this idea. Okay, storage locker terminal memo, you know, okay, spare case. Oh, it's not this one. Rookie's first assignment. We had that lock that the character supposed to solve, and that was his first assignment, his rookie first assignment, right? So I'll go here because this is very important for my point. Why? Lieutenant Branagh is his superior. Okay, what's this thing? Well, we have to talk about. Oh, wait! Somebody came here. Touch things, but yeah, definitely hold your breath, and don't. You can just walk like that if you want. Because no, don't need to take your shoes off because I didn't sweep the floor. I was like recording this and I was talking. Okay, sorry about that. Um, no, no, no. Please sit down, and I will stop the recording. I just want to aim this phrase because I was talking about power, and I want to point to just power, yeah. So why is this important? Okay, so I'm broadcasting Sorry about that. Sorry about the interruption. So basically, Lieutenant Branagh is Leon's superior, and there is this dynamics of power between his superior and the rookie. The rookie has to solve the puzzle, and the Lieutenant Branagh is the one that gives him the hints. Now, this is a test because they need a smart person there. Okay, so if he's dumb enough not to solve the puzzle, then he doesn't deserve to be a cop, right? So anyway, we're pointing out to the fact that there is also always an hierarchy in the dynamics of power. So if you think of a game, any video game, any given video games, like there is an authority that, you know, like it imposes its rules upon you. So basically you need to do something in order to beat the game following the rules. In the same way, Lieutenant Branagh in our narrative here gives Leon some clues about how to solve a puzzle that will allow him to actually be accepted in the team, right? Be one of the cops of Raccoon City. So we have this hierarchy, and we have the authority that gives things the rookie can feed with in order to prove his intelligence and become part of the organization. Okay, so I will follow this idea later in my future videos. Why is this important? Why do I connect it with martial arts? Why do I connect it with real life? It's because somehow I believe that the structure of power has always this kind of hierarchy, and there are rules that are imposed from the authority, and you know, like if you are below, you have to obey the rules. Now the question is, are these rules insurmountable, just like the ones from Resident Evil or any video game? Because you cannot negotiate. The rules are not flexible. You either shoot the zombies or the zombie eats you. You either solve the problem because you read Shakespeare and you know what's going on there in the Shakespeare world, and you have the intellectual capacity to actually transmute that knowledge into the code that you are required to unsolve in order to open the locks. Either you do that or you don't. If you don't do that, you do not finish the game unless you know the cheating code. So that's the question. Can you bend the rules? So that's it for now, and yeah, see each other next time. What was that? Yeah. Stop.